Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2021-22 season. My name is Dan and welcome to a Gameweek 16 episode of Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid, your weekly transfer tips guide, I suppose, where we try and figure out the best players to buy, sell, keep and avoid, I suppose. There we go, guys. So lots of things to talk about today. Lots of fixture swings. Hopefully this is going to be a more interesting episode than usual, so hopefully you do like it. If you do, please, of course, do like the video. Do subscribe if you're new around here as well, because, yeah, I think this is going to be a good one. But before we go any further, this episode of Buy, Sell, Keep, Avoid is actually sponsored by myself. Now, I don't usually like to be too pushy about this, but I actually have an FPL merch store. I've spent a little bit of time making some cool designs, and I think you may like some of this. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, bags, hats, some really cool designs, some pretty funny designs as well. And I even made this fantasy football hat the other day. If you're kind of feeling festive, you can click on the design you like and browse which product you'd like it to be printed on. You can choose your colour, choose your size, and get it sent out to you. And I really think that these would just be great gifts for fantasy football lovers over Christmas, or just treat yourself if you're as much of an FPL nerd as I am. So right now we have got a 15% discount on everything. You can visit fplmate.myspreadshop.co.uk, or you can click on the link at the top of the video description. Make sure, guys, you order sooner rather than later if you want that guaranteed Christmas delivery. And of course, any purchase you make massively helps to support the YouTube channel. So thank you so much for any support, guys. And I'm just really excited to see if you like any of my designs, to be honest. Now, on with the video. So, the rules of the video: buys are players you probably don't have but should consider bringing in, sells are players you probably have and should consider removing, keeps are players you probably have, you should actually keep these players, and avoids are players that are pretty hyped up right now, and I think you should actually avoid these players. Now, before we go any further, this is your weekly reminder to not make early transfers. This is a very, very bad week for early transfers. There is COVID going on, there is European football going on. I just would hate for you guys to make early transfers that you regret. So there's your first warning on that one, but without further ado, let's have a look at some buys. Our first buy is Jarrod Bowen, and now no surprise we're talking about Jarrod Bowen here. He's a player I've kind of been hyping up for a little while now. Best underlying stats at West Ham, highest goal involvement at West Ham by a long way recently, and he's kind of caught up with Antonio's total points too. I was really hoping he would be a great differential for all of us to go for ahead of his big fixture swing, but of course a rather unexpected haul against Chelsea has put him in the public eye a little bit. But regardless, he is a top player that I thoroughly recommend. West Ham, they're a top side. They're proving that over and over again that they can compete with the best. They're a top side with an insane fixture swing where they have great fixtures all the way until February. This is kind of a great time to load up on those West Ham players, and the best place to start doing that is Bowen. Not Antonio, not Fornals, not Sofal. Go for Bowen as your first West Ham player. He is playing in a more advanced position than any of his teammates. He's getting the most goal scoring opportunities and good opportunities to score too. He's also been the most creative player at the club recently. He's got a great goal scoring record, and he's an improving player, and he's a super fit guy as well. So he really can play every single game over the busy fixture schedule over the Christmas period if necessary. He's super cheap, only 6.4 million, and there's just so much to love about him. There's so much to love about him as an FPL pick. And honestly, I know most of you guys will be used to people talking your ear off about going for Man City midfielders or Mason Mount. Jarrod Bowen, I genuinely believe, is going to be the cheap midfielder to go for, and I'd be very keen to grab him now before everyone else realises this and goes for him as well. Sometimes I'm just really confident about an FPL pick. This is one of those occasions. Next buy is Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, the world famous Manchester United fixture swing is finally here. We've been talking about this fixture swing pretty much since pre-season, right? After some tough games for United, it's now going to be green fixture after green fixture after green fixture. And guess what? This insane fixture swing has also coincided with a new manager who I'm sure we're expecting to be maybe just a little bit better than the last one. It looks like Manchester United players are going to be getting a lot of FPL points over the coming weeks. I really think so. Good players, good manager, good fixtures. The stars have kind of aligned in many ways, haven't they? Now, the question is, who do we go for? Now, I know a lot of people will be trying to be clever here, try and go for players like Sancho or Rashford or maybe Dalot. That's absolutely fine, but I do think we need to sort out the basics first. Now, United, they've been poor in general this season, which I think is why some people are not so keen on Ronaldo. But even in a poor United side, Ronaldo's been outperforming his teammates by a country mile, and that's even considering he's played less games than some others. Nobody is taking more shots, getting more big chances, and in recent game weeks, only Bruno is matching him for creativity as well. So he's doing everything right now, literally everything. And, I just feel like you might be expecting a little bit more from Ronaldo so far this season. You might have thought, I wanted him to do more a little bit, really. But if you go through these United players, nobody has done better. So even if you're disappointed by Ronaldo, you can't honestly say that you are less disappointed in a Sancho or a Rashford this season. I know there's been injuries there and stuff like that. But you can't say that Ronaldo's been a bigger disappointment than some of those other guys. It's just that Ronaldo's been in a disappointing team, I would say, really. So maybe let's not be too harsh on Ronaldo, I don't think. In FPL terms, we're talking here, by the way, guys. And if we're expecting a general upturn in the output from these players due to fixtures, new management, it makes sense that Ronaldo is the guy to continue to thrive rather than taking a punt on some of the other guys. He's already got 3 double-figure hauls this season. I think we'll be seeing a few more in upcoming weeks. Outside of Salah, I'm kind of struggling to see a better premium to own right now. And for all of those miserable Kane owners out there, this is your escape opportunity. The Ronaldo hype train is back, boys. Onto some sales. We'll start you off with Raphinha. Speaking of fixture swings, I guess, Leeds have a very bad one indeed. No injury returnees can offset the fact that Leeds play their 3 toughest away games they will have all season, all within the space of the next 4 game weeks. Oh, and Arsenal are in there as well for good measure. So yes, this sell is mostly based on fixtures, but it's also a little bit about form as well. Now, it's possible to say that it looks like Raphinha has been in good form from an FPL points point of view, I guess, but I'm not sure that's strictly true. If you look at his stats on screen, 2 shots in the box, 1 big chance in the previous 5 game weeks, but if you take away the penalty that he took against Palace in game week 14, he's actually just had 1 shot in the box and 0 big chances. We're not expecting him to take any more penalties with the return of Bamford. Click is going to be ahead of him in the pecking order as well. And as for creativity, it's been okay, but not amazing. So whilst Raphinha, he's been a great player to watch and he's clearly a top talent playing good football, I'm not sure his performances can translate well into projected FPL points, particularly when you factor in these tough upcoming fixtures. You have to kind of think realistically, this struggling Leeds side, how many goals are they going to score in the next 4 games? Maybe 2 goals, 3 games. That many of those goals is Raphinha going to be involved in? Well, on recent form, he's been involved in about a third of Leeds' goals, which would that would be pretty decent, to be fair, if we were foreseeing a lot of goals, but we're not. So we're maybe looking at 1 goal involvement in the next 4 games. I know this is just kind of rough estimates, but when you have such an easy transfer move straight to Bowen, Raphinha to Bowen, waiting for you to pull the trigger, it just seems like such an obvious switch to me. In the same way as Kane to Ronaldo, that looks like a really solid transfer move. So does Raphinha to Bowen. So that's exactly what I would be doing if I were you guys. Next sell is Raul Jiménez. Every week, Jiménez kind of looks a little bit worse as an FPL asset, doesn't he? Wolves kind of seem all defence and no attack at the moment, and it means players like Jiménez, Hwang Hee-chan, who we were all raving about not so long ago, look truly in the mud as FPL assets. I mean, how can a 7.7 million forward only have 0.7 expected goals despite playing 90 minutes in 5 consecutive games, especially when those games were against the likes of Crystal Palace, Norwich, Burnley? Even the perpetual disappointment that is Harry Kane has better underlying stats than this by quite some margin. And whilst Michail Antonio's his stats kind of aren't much better, at least we kind of know a fixture swing is coming his way for him. So if those 2 guys, I guess, when we talk about Kane and Antonio, they're kind of considered poor FPL picks, then Jiménez, he kind of has to be considered a poor FPL pick as well. He's just not been his usual self. He's not even been his usual creative self in recent game weeks. It just seems like Wolves have turned into this ultra-defensive team, not creating anything, just trying to nick those 1-0s. That's not good at all for fantasy when we're looking for attackers. And even defenders, we're probably not going to look at when we look at some of these upcoming fixtures, City and Chelsea. So, as always, guys, when a player is about to play against Man City, it presents a really easy, guilt-free way out, since they're probably not going to punish you your decision immediately. If you can somehow move him to Ronaldo, that would be great. If not, dare I say Antonio? Is it Antonio time again? If not, Watkins might be a good shout, particularly after the Liverpool game. And finally, if you fancy going for a cheap player, Dennis, King at Watford. They're about to start their fixture swing, and they've looked like really a really nice little attack under Ranieri, haven't they? So plenty of options for you to switch out Jimenez. Onto some keeps. We've got Jamie Vardy first of all. I've seen a lot of people talking about removing Jamie Vardy from their teams over the last couple of days. Video comments in my stream, Twitter as well. And I've kind of looked it up today, and Vardy is indeed approaching 100,000 transfers out already this game week. We've hardly even begun the week, right? And I have to say, what the hell? What the hell, guys? One of the best strikers in the league and the highest scoring forward in FPL is about to play arguably the worst defence in the league, and people want to sell. And I do kind of half get why this is happening. I think it's the usual thing where people panic when a player gets a rest, when a player gets a one-pointer, you know. People do panic about this, and Vardy was rested in game week 15, so a lot of people will panic. They'll say, oh no, this means Vardy is never going to play a game of football again in his career. But obviously, that is never how it works with big players. Vardy is just kind of old. Rodgers has said that Vardy will need occasional rest, and now that he's had his rest, you have to remember that this increases Vardy's chances of playing the following game. Vardy is actually a better FPL option now that he has had his rest. He's better now than he, better as a pick than he was last week or the week before, So remember, guys, what I was saying before about Vardy a couple of weeks ago, I think, kind of performing well against the weaker teams early on in the season. I know we think of Vardy as a big game player, but he's been more of a good player against the weaker teams, a minnow killer maybe. When he got that fixture against Watford, he thrived, didn't he? Game week 13. Now we've got another Watford, I guess, in Newcastle, and I think he could easily be on for double figures again in this game. So it seems crazy to me that anyone will want to sell him at this exact moment. Maybe you're just, I don't know if you're maybe trying to just do a move to Ronaldo or another forward. I think that can wait. Just give it one more game week, and I think your patience will be rewarded. Keep. My other keep is Sergio Reguilon. Lots of people kind of panicked over Reggie as his injury did not look so good when he came off against Norwich. But the man himself had a statement for all of us on his Twitter account. Now, this is actually from his Twitter account. He said, "I'll be back in a few days. Don't sell me in FPL." Now, you can't get much better confirmation than that. It looks like his injury isn't serious at all, and he should be, raring to go in game week 16, and owners should be excited. Brighton, they've been struggling for goals, and this Conte team looks good for a clean sheet as well. And although I think Reguilon is seriously lacking in terms of end product, this Conte system is basically designed for him to thrive in. He may not always get his shots, passes and crosses right, but it's a game of numbers, and the more times you try it, the more chances it has to come off. And as such, I think we can continue to expect some decent points returns from this man in weeks to come. The only minor concern is that he might have to play in both the UEFA Conference League and then the Premier League in close proximity. But aside from that, guys, I think he's good to go. Don't be put off by his 0-pointer, I guess. Don't be put off by his Dorito of Death flag on the FPL app. Keep Reggie, unless something else happens, which I think we'll talk about now. Now, our first avoid is Heung-min Son. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this already, but a few of you may not. I feel the need to kind of fill in the gaps here a little bit, just in case. But at first, it was just rumours, but it does seem like we're at a point where now we're basically pretty much certain. It would seem that there's been a big COVID outbreak at Spurs among players and staff. The senior players that have reportedly been tested positive are Emerson Royale, Lucas, Romero, Brian Hill, Ben Davies, and perhaps most notably Heung-min Son. So as such, I think we have to strongly advise that we just hold off on any moves for Son. I know a lot of you guys will be really keen to get him in after his performance at the weekend, but it's just not worth the risk. The players will be getting their proper PCR tests done as we speak. They should get their results back soon, and then after that we'll have confirmation, won't we? But any of these players who are confirmed to be out, they have COVID, they will be out for a minimum of 2 game weeks and likely 3 game weeks when you factor in training and match fitness. So naturally, these players are absolute must-avoid players, really, in terms of FPL. And there will be strong consideration to sell these players too if you have them, particularly the more expensive ones. It looks right now that no games are going to be rearranged, and Spurs can still field a reasonably strong team. So I don't think there's too much cause to worry about other Spurs players that I haven't mentioned at this moment. But definitely keep an eye on this, people, as things can change very quickly, and you never know. We could have some games cancelled. We could have a growing list of Spurs double game weeks in the future, and this will be very big for FPL. So keep a close eye on this, guys. But anyway, once again, Heung-min Son, Emerson, Lucas, Romero, Brian Hill, Ben Davies are all strongly suspected to have contracted COVID. Please avoid these players at all costs unless it is confirmed specifically by the club that the player is fine. That would definitely be my advice on that one. And finally, on avoids, we have our weekly entry for random defender that happened to score last game week, being knee-jerked in by hundreds of thousands of FPL managers thinking this will be a regular occurrence. A lot of you guys know the drill by now, but we'll do it anyway. Seriously, guys, this happens every week, doesn't it? It really happens every week. And every week, people get lumped with another centre-back in their teams who doesn't repeat the same feat for another 10 game weeks. Thiago Silva is not going to score every game week, and due to his age, he's probably not even going to play every game week. I know he got an assist a couple of game weeks ago too, but that was pretty jammy as well, really, wasn't it? He basically got booted in the back of the leg by Wan-Bissaka as a corner was coming in, which gave away a penalty, giving Silva a penalty assist. I'd honestly be surprised if Thiago Silva ever got another penalty assist in the rest of his career, to be honest, really. It would be quite surprising. So yes, be very wary about this one. Don't expect Silva to keep getting goals and assists. This transfer does reek of chasing points, and considering the premium defender template or meta seems to be dying out a little bit, I really don't think we need to be adding in any more expensive defenders to our rosters right now. Chelsea, they also have a few players missing right now. Mendy is lacking in confidence. Thiago Silva will be rotated heavily in the coming game weeks, we suspect. This FPL transfer seems like an absolute disaster waiting to happen, and I think it's one that you're seriously going to regret if you make it. So guys, if I can just get just one person to trust me on this one, Thiago Silva is not the boy for you. Shop elsewhere for defenders. So, in summary, once again, guys, do not make early transfers. European football and COVID are the enemy of the early transfers, and both of those are rife this week. Wait until Thursday or Friday if you can to make your moves. Keep an eye on the situations in play, particularly the Spurs situation. Aside from that, buy Bowen, buy Ronaldo, keep Vardy, and whatever you do not buy Thiago Silva, guys. So there we have it, guys. That's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please do make sure you leave a like. Really helps out the channel. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here. Don't forget the 15% off on everything in the FPL merch shop that I have curated over the past couple of months. You can have a look in the description for the link if you want to go check that out and get your orders in ready for Christmas. Let me know, of course, if you get anything. Like, I'm really excited to see if anyone is interested in this kind of stuff, because it's a kind of like a side passion project that I'm doing, and I thought I'd just give it a shout out in this video just in case anyone is interested. If you're not, completely understandable, completely fair enough. But there we go, guys. Loads of content to come. We've got the usual, all the usual content coming this week, and then the next game week 17, will be a little bit more messy. But this week is going to be as usual. All the videos in the right places. Buy, sell, keep, avoid today. 100 experts tomorrow. We'll have our team selection on Thursday, and we'll do a deadline stream on Friday, and that will be your lot. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.